Hi everyone, welcome to week 1 of orofacial anatomy. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at chapters 2, just a few pages from chapter 2, and we're going to look at chapter 4 in detail. Now, what we're going to learn about this week is we're going to learn about the different types of teeth we have. We're also going to learn about something called primary dentition, permanent dentition, and mixed dentition. So dentition basically means teeth. So we're going to look at primary teeth, which is baby teeth. We're going to look at permanent teeth, which is this picture over here, and that's adult teeth. And then we might even touch on mixed dentition. And mixed dentition is when some of us might have mostly kids, they would have mixed dentition, which means that they would have some baby teeth, some primary teeth, and some permanent or adult teeth. So let's dive in today and start with tooth quadrants. So if we look at your mouth right now, you can easily divide your mouth into 4. So when you use quad comes from 4, so you can divide your mouth into 4 quadrants. And the way it works is this is your right side. So I know this looks confusing because when you look at it, this might look as if it's your left side, but really it's your right side. Let's look at it in this image here. So if I were to look at it like this, okay, so this is your mouth, your teeth right now. This over here is quad 1. So what you do is you draw an imaginary line right in the middle. Okay, so right in the middle, you draw an imaginary line, and this side over here, which is on your upper right, that side over here is quad 1. Then next to it, again, your upper left is quad 2. If I were to turn this around, this is going to look like a mirror image, but this is quad 1. So you draw a line, imaginary line in the midline in the middle. Quad 1 is your upper right. Quad 2 is your upper left. I rotate this like this. So this is quad 1. Quad 2, right underneath quad 2 is 3. So you're going clockwise. Quad 1, quad 2, and then again, halfway through is your midline. Quad 3 and quad 4. So when we look at this picture over here, quad 1, this is the quarter of your mouth, that's quad 1. And so again, remember, this line over here that's dividing the face or the mouth or the mouth in half is known as your midline. So when you figure out where quad 1 is, it's over here. Quad 2 is right next to it. Over here, quad 3 is immediately below it, so it's clockwise. You're following this pattern here. Oops. That's quad 3 and quad 4. So take a few minutes. I'm going to call out some quadrants, and I want you to tell me or imagine in your mouth where that would be. So this is like your mouth over here. Where is quad 4? Think about it. Quad 4. Where is quadrant 4 in your mouth? If you said this, you would be correct. This is quadrant 4. Quad 1 is upper right, quad 2, quad 3, quad 4. And if I flip it around like this, quad 4 is over here. This is quadrant 4. Let's look at quadrant 2. Where is quadrant 2? So remember, this is quad 1. Your upper right is quad 1. So this is quadrant 2. Okay, quadrant 2 is your upper left. If I flip this over, this is quadrant 2. And where does it start? It starts with your, we're going to look at this in detail, but this is your central incisor. So it starts with your first tooth over here on the left, the central incisor, and it goes all the way down. Whoops, that shouldn't have happened. Goes all the way down to your third molar, which we will look at later on. So the third molar is right here. We have 3 molars. We have 2 premolars, which we'll look at later. And then we have incisor, 2 incisors, and a canine per quadrant. Okay, so I hope you know your quadrants. Again, just to recap, quadrants are divided into 4. Okay, so this is quad 1. Sorry, let's use this picture. This is quad 1, this is quad 2, this is quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now, another thing you can do is you can also divide your mouth into 6. And so sect comes from 6. Remember, quad comes from 4. If you've heard of, like, when people have quadruplets, that's 4 sets of twins, right? Like sextants or sextuplets. 6 types of kids, 6 kids rather. So if you can divide this into 6. Now I know it says segments here, it should say sextant. So you could have sextant 1, sextant 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, if I were to bring the teeth over here, I can look at it from this side. Sextant 1 are all the molars and premolar. That's sextant 1. This is sextant 2, which is from the canine to the canine, and we'll look at this more closely later on. Sextant 3 is from the premolar to the molar, so that's sextant 3. And remember, you're going clockwise, so 1, 2, 3, then the bottom, sextant 4. Okay, then this is sextant 5, and then all the premolars and molars is sextant 6. So if I were to flip it around like this is what we would do. Normally when you see your patient in the dental chair, it would look like this to you. So sextant 1, think about it. Where is sextant 1? This is sextant 1. This is sextant 2, this is sextant 3. So sextant 2 is from canine to canine, and then everything after is sextant 3. And then sextant 4 is from here, the end, to the premolar. Sextant 5 is from canine to canine. And then sextant 6, if I flip it, we can see better, is this area here from this premolar to the very end molar. Okay, so another way to divide teeth is by sextants. So quadrants is when you divide it into 4. Sextant is when you divide it into 6. Now this is primary teeth. Okay, so when we're looking at dentition, dentition basically means teeth. So all the teeth. When you're looking at the entire mouth and you're looking at the teeth in specifically, that's known as dentition. So we have primary dentition, which is baby teeth, and I'll show you what baby teeth look like. This actually is baby teeth. And I can even show you another picture right here. So this is the top part of a baby's mouth. And you can see here, baby teeth only have 10 teeth at the top and 10 at the bottom. Okay, so 5 on this side, 5 on another side, and then there's also 5, or 10 really, on the bottom. So 10 teeth altogether. But a permanent dentition has, can you guys guess how many teeth a permanent dentition would have? If you said 32, you would be correct. 32 including the wisdom teeth, okay? That includes the wisdom teeth. So permanent or adult teeth have 32 teeth. Primary dentition or baby teeth have 20. So 10 on the top and 10 on the bottom. And that's what we see here. And again, with primary teeth, with baby teeth, we do the same thing. We could divide the mouth into 4, and we could have 4 quadrants. Now let's look at arches. So arches are, we have the top arc and we have a bottom arc, and they are given specific names. So when we say top, we call it maxillary arch. So max, think of max as being the very top. Max means the highest at the top. So the top arc is known as your maxillary arc, and the bottom one is known as your mandibular arc. The way I remember this is D in the mandibular for down. So D for down, mand for down. Okay, so again, if I were to pull up our picture of the or a 3D image of our permanent teeth, this over here is your maxillary teeth, which is the top, or maxillary arc, which is the top, and this over here are all part of your mandibular teeth or mandibular arc. Arc means this entire area, so that's mandibular. So mandibular is the bottom, down, maxillary is top. So if I say, point out to me where the maxillary central incisor is, and this over here is your maxillary central incisor. If I say, where's your mandibular central incisors? This over here are your mandibular central incisors. And we're going to look at the type of incisors we have, or type of teeth we have later on. So max for top, mand for bottom. That's what we call it for short. So sometimes we won't say the entire maxillary arch, we'll just say max arch or max teeth, and sometimes for short we'll say mand, or instead of mandibular, which gets quite long, I might say mand. All right, and as we know, there are 4 quadrants in everyone's mouth. Okay, so now let's look at the types of teeth we have in our mouth. So for example, we have the central incisors. So central means middle. So the middle teeth are the central incisors. Okay, we're looking at a permanent dentition. We're looking at adult teeth. Then we have a lateral incisors, and the lateral means to the side. So the ones on the side of the central incisors are your lateral incisors. Then we have a canine, and our canine is very unique. It has a sharp, like it's known as a sharp teeth, and we'll look at why that is later on. But if you look at it over here, this is your central incisors. We have max central incisors, man central incisors. This is your lateral incisor, because it's just lateral, it's just to the side of the central incisor. And same thing here. This is your lateral incisors. And then we have canines. This is your max canine. Do you see how it has a point to it? And this is your man canine. And again, it has a point to it. So the sharp point are your canine. Think of a dog. You know how the dogs have canine teeth? This is what they're referring to. Okay, so canine teeth. Then we have the first and second premolars. So adult teeth have 2 premolars, and your premolars are right here. And remember, they're called premolars, so they're not as big as your molars. They're kind of like premolar. They're not as big. And these are your molars. We have it on the max. We also have it on the mand. And we have 3 molars, okay? 3 molars, which are at the very edge. They're like you're biting. You chew on your molars. When you eat, you chew on your molars. So again, if I were to look at this over here, we can see these are your premolars right here. We have 2 premolars on the top, 2 premolars on the bottom. If you look on the opposite side, same thing. So we have a total of, if you count, 8 premolars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 premolars, and then we have molars. And your molars are the ones at the very back. They're the biggest teeth we have, the molars. Okay, so those are the molars. Now, if you were to look at the primary dentition, you'll see that there's less teeth involved. So a deciduous, also known as primary, also known as baby teeth, have incisors. Okay, so they have 2 incisors here. They have a canine, so we're just looking at one arc, okay? They have, if we're looking at one quadrant, we can be even more specific and say they have 2 incisors here. They have a central incisor and a lateral incisor. Then they have a canine, and then they have molars. Notice that they do not have a premolar. So premolars are only found in adult teeth. In primary or deciduous or baby teeth, we only have molars. We have molars, no premolars. We have a canine, and we have a central and a lateral incisor in one quadrant. Okay, the same thing gets repeated for each quadrant. And then sometimes we have mixed dentition. And so we're going to look at the ages, because at some age, we would see clients or patients with mixed dentition. And mixed dentition means they have some baby teeth and some adult teeth. And that's what we see here. If you zoom into this image here, this is a panoramic x-ray, which we'll learn about later on. And this pan x-ray kind of shows the entire mouth. And what you can see here is you can see the adult teeth coming in, and when it's coming in, the baby teeth will soon come out, will fall out, will shed. Okay, so these are the adult teeth that are actually erupting, and this person has a mixed dentition. So sometimes we'll have, like, parents come in and say, oh, you know what, my kid doesn't look like my kid has any adult teeth coming in. And then we take a pan x-ray like this, and then we can show the parent that, look, we do see adult teeth coming in. It's slowly making its way up. So it's a good way of a pan x-ray. There's so many advantages to taking a pan x-ray, but one of the good things is we can see where all the baby teeth and adult teeth are, and we can see if adult teeth are making their way up.